Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. My name's Danielle and I'm the owner of Damn Fancy Creations and the Drunk Flamingo Glitter. In case you guys are new to my channel, I do want to let you know that all of my groups and links are posted in the description below in case you want to check them out. Rustic Western tumbler, and I love how it turned out. As soon as I got this pink poppy vinyl printed, I knew that I wanted to use it ASAP, and I thought it paired perfectly with my original tooled leather vinyl. Everything that you see autumn sweater will be covered in today's tutorial, but as always, if you guys have and I love how it turned out, and I hope you guys do as well. Please feel free to ask below or in the Drunk Flamingo Glitter group, and I will be happy to answer them. But for now, we're going to go ahead and get started on this tutorial, and I hope you guys enjoy. Alright guys, so to start out, you are going to grab a slim tumbler. It works best if you have one that is not tapered. I believe I'm using a 30-ounce skinny from Hog, and these are the templates that I made. If you guys watch my tutorials, y'all know that I typically don't use templates. If I need a certain design or template, I will usually make my own. So I am using basically a large square angled at a diamond and then two smaller triangles. So I just sized my square to the size that I wanted to wrap my tumbler, and then I just cut out triangles to fill in the extra space. So once I have my template, I'm going to put my diamond down, and I am going to trace this diamond onto the back of my vinyl. Now I am putting it down on the vinyl in a diamond shape, because if I were just to cut a square out of this vinyl, our flowers would be going at an angle and not straight up and down the tumbler, and we don't want that. So now I have my diamond shape drawn out onto my vinyl. And next we are going to use my tooled leather vinyl. I was debating on using cowhide as well, but I opted to just stick with these two. I did use cowhide in another tutorial, but I did not want this one to be super busy. So next I am laying down my triangles, again going with the design of the vinyl based on how the triangles were going to be applied. I wanted to make sure that both of the designs were going the correct direction. So for my next triangle, I am just butting it right up against the original triangle that I drew, just trying to save as much vinyl as I can so I'm not wasting a whole lot. And we're just drawing or tracing this triangle. Now, obviously, if you wanted your square to be a little bit smaller, then you would cut your template a little bit smaller and then fit your triangles to the size that you made your square. And I decided that cutting this vinyl with my paper cutter was a lot easier than trying to cut it with that small little Cricut cutter, especially since everything was at an angle. So here are all of my pieces. This is our big square that we're going to be using, and then all of these random little pieces. You can definitely use these for small V-splits or other little designs on tumblers. You don't need to throw these away. So now we're going to cut out our 2 triangles that are going to be at the top and bottom of each of the square. So now that we have all of our little pieces cut out, we are going to get ready to apply them to the tumbler itself. So again, we still have extra pieces, but they are large enough to where I can use them on a different tumbler if I need to or want to. So I'm going to get out my handy dandy cup holder from Cami Page Boutique. We do have a discount code to our site, which is Damn Fancy. So right now I am just wrapping this vinyl around, making sure it lines up how I want it to. So I am just holding it here, and I am just peeling back a small corner on one side, and we are going to cut the backing off and folding that piece down so it acts as a hinge. And then I'm going to get my little diamonds, put them up to the cup just to make sure that the top and bottom are both pretty even. If they're off slightly, it's not going to be that big of a deal because we are going to go back with vinyl and pinstripes. So if anything needs to be covered that is easily covered, it can be. So everything is looking like it is lining up nicely. So I am going to flip this back over. I'm going to take my little squeegee and I'm going to slowly push down that vinyl as the backing is coming off. So I am just slowly smoothing down this vinyl, making sure there are no wrinkles. So I'm going to speed it up just a little bit. And then when you get to the end, everything looks nice. I'm just going to trim these little points off for now, just to get them out of the way. So next it's time to apply the tooled vinyl triangles. And I'm going to do the same thing. We're just going to trim off a little piece of the backing and then smooth down that vinyl. Make sure everything is even. Flip that backing over. Smooth the vinyl down. And see how everything lines up nicely. And then we're going to do the same thing with the bottom triangle. So already I was loving this cup. I just really, really like this vinyl. So next we're going to use Brooks edging tool from Cami Page Boutique. I have the one with the half spacer. So I'm trimming just a small amount of the top vinyl off. I love this tool. It helps you get that smooth rim so quickly. And it's super compact, so you can just put it to the side, And then we're going to do the same thing to the bottom of the cup. We're just going around with the edging tool. I did forget that for hog tumblers, maybe on stainless depot, or sorry, on steel magnolias, you do have to go up a space with the spacer, just how the tumblers sit. They're a little curved, so the blade doesn't hit all the way at the bottom just because of how the tumbler is shaped. So I just move my blade up one space and then went around the bottom again with the edging tool. And you can watch me struggle as I try to put this back in here. So now we have good smooth rims. How nice. So next what we're going to do is take our tumbler down and give it a layer of epoxy. I am just showing you how I epoxy 2 tumblers because I was doing 2 at the same time. This turner is from the Tumbler grip. I love this turner. It has magnetic arms. I love these expandable arms. They fit every tumbler that I have. I've used skinnies, I have used football tumblers, I have used shorty tumblers, and these grips fit everything that I have. If you guys have not tried the Tumbler grip but want to, I do have a discount code, which is Damn Fancy. It will take 10% off your first order. I was somebody that always used footballs and pool noodles, and I don't know why I did not upgrade sooner, but I'm so glad that I did. But once you get your cups on these turner arms, they are not going anywhere. And I love the fact that they're magnetic as well. So next we're going to take Artistry's 1:1 ratio fast set. My code for them is also Damn Fancy. And we are just going to do a medium layer of epoxy. You don't want it super thin, but you don't want it really thick. When I apply epoxy, I like to start in the middle and just apply epoxy all the way around, and then I bring that epoxy up to the rim. And then we are going to bring that epoxy down to the bottom rim. I just like to make sure everything is covered. And then I will wipe from bottom to top just to smooth everything out. This is also a good way to feel if everything is covered on your tumbler or if you need to go back and add more epoxy. So once everything is covered in epoxy, we are going to take our torch. I have the big torch from CC DIY, and we are going to pop bubbles for 1 full rotation. If you do not have a big torch, I do suggest it. I think it makes a huge difference in the amount of bubbles that get popped. And typically 1 rotation of torching is enough for Artistry. I don't typically have an issue with micro bubbles. And once this layer of epoxy cures, we are going to sand it if we need to, and then we're going to apply our glitter. I could have probably applied glitter before I epoxied, but I wasn't too sure what I wanted to do with it yet. So we just epoxied first and then went back and glittered. So I am going to use Autumn Sweater. I thought this color went perfectly with the poppy vinyl, and we're going to use Artistry's glitter glue. Autumn Sweater is definitely a customer favorite. I know it's one of Brooke Tannehill's favorite glitters of mine. She has used it a lot in her tutorials. If y'all have not checked out her YouTube channel, she has some really awesome tutorials over there. So I am applying this glitter glue at an angle, kind of pulling it into the center so that when we sprinkle our glitter also at an angle, it's going to give the effect that all of this glitter is kind of falling towards the center of this cup. So I am just carefully sprinkling this glitter and letting it cascade towards the center of the cup. And I'm just doing a little bit at a time. You don't want to dump a whole lot and then the whole tumbler be covered in glitter. And then if you need to go add a little bit more glitter glue and touch up some areas, you can do that. If you guys have not tried Artistry's glitter glue, I definitely suggest it. It's pretty much all I use to apply my glitter right now. It gives a very similar effect to epoxy. Everything lays very smoothly. Y'all can see that this is chunky glitter and it's already pretty smooth. Now I will let this dry for about an hour. Then I will brush everything off, spray seal it, and put it on my turner for another 2 layers of epoxy. Then once that is cured, we're going to start applying our pinstripes. If you guys did not know, I do have a pinstripe file on thedrunkflamingo.com. It has my most popular pinstripe sizes, which is 0.07, 0.05, and 0.03. And I'm just using some textured gold vinyl from Cricut. I thought this went really well with the tumbler. It also kind of pulled those yellowy gold tones from the leather vinyl that I'm using. And we're just applying this so that the pinstripes crisscross in the back. So they go through the other side. I'm not stopping it where the vinyl ends. I am just applying it across the entire tumbler. This way the back of the tumbler also has a design and a unique feel to kind of match the front, and the back isn't just plain. And I am just connecting the pinstripe and continuing it down the cup. Making sure everything is pressed down well. Then we're going to get our edging tool again, and I am just lightly pressing the blade into the vinyl so that we trim those spots off as well. And for the top, I did have to lower that blade again, so I was going to do that later. So now we have our decal. I just found this design on Creative Fabrica. I thought it was perfect for what I wanted. I just layered the gold textured vinyl onto white. I really wanted a more softer feel to this decal, not something that stood out too much. So I really was loving the feel of this tumbler, just kind of a soft Western floral. So now what I'm going to do is take my UV resin. I am just taking a tiny, tiny drop, and we're going to seal the ends of our pinstripes. I seal all of my pinstripes this way. It really helps with lifting under epoxy. And we're going to cure it with our UV light. We're going to do the same thing to the top of our tumbler. Just a very thin layer of UV resin just to hold the ends of the pinstripes down. We're going to cure it again for about 2 minutes. And once that's cured, we are going to cover the entire decal and remaining pinstripes with Quick Seal from Artistry. Anytime I use this textured vinyl, I always seal it. I used this vinyl at one point and I noticed that the epoxy was not sticking to it. I ended up removing that layer of epoxy around that decal and noticed that none of the epoxy adhered to this textured vinyl. So anytime I use this textured vinyl, I always seal it just to make sure that the epoxy adheres well. And I'm just using the smallest amount of Quick Seal. I know I'm dipping my brush a lot, but I'm just barely dipping it in there. There was hardly any in that container. And once that Quick Seal has dried, we are going to put this back on our turner for 2 more layers of epoxy, and then your tumbler will be complete. Here are some finished pictures. I really love how this tumbler turned out. I just love the glitter and the vinyl and decal. I think it all goes really well together, and I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. If you guys decide to try this tumbler or use either one of these vinyls or glitter, please tag me in the Drunk Flamingo because I love to see what you guys come up with. And thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this tutorial or learned something new, please be sure to like, subscribe, and share. Don't forget to catch the next video coming up that was picked just for you. As always, if you're looking for more tips, tricks, or tutorials, check out my Damn Fancy Tribe, my tutorial group, or my Drunk Flamingo glitter group. All are listed in the description. Thanks for watching.